Hi everybody, welcome and thank you for joining me again. Some of you have come with great explanations for the birth certificate and are obviously trying to help, but the following matters remain. Number one, if the regional number is the one starting with 105, then it is still incorrect because the regional number for both Colorado and California is indeed only 11 numbers. So yes, a lot of people have turned around and said 105 or 05 is indeed used in California. It does not matter because it's supposed to be confirmed yesterday morning your time, afternoon my time, that it should be 11 numbers and not 13. The Santa Barbara County office, however, do use the 4-figure date as per one of my great subscribers, and the county RN could very well be 13 figures. So, number two, if we then assume that the 105 number is used by Santa Barbara County, then the 120 number, which incidentally has 11 numbers, must be the state registration number. 120, however, is the 3-digit area code on a standard United States birth certificate which represents Massachusetts. But folks, here is the thing. We are going to argue this back and forth forever because there were changes made to the system in 2011, and there are counties and states or counties within states which are using the new random allocation method. Blah, blah, blah. And that I received from a person I spoke to yesterday. Okay, so she came back to me and she said, look, some of the counties now do use random allocation. Okay, so as far as I can see, California and Colorado are not among those. Anyway, so here in South Africa, we do not have such issues, and nor in Britain, because we do not have different laws in different states or provinces then. We only have national law, which counts for me in the Western Cape, and which also then counts for people in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng and everywhere else. So luckily, no such confusion here. However, the points I have made numerous times before are indeed simple, and it comes down to this. Number one, using Harry's titles instead of his birth names is not legal in the United Kingdom, and it should not be legal in the United States. And number two, most important of all, as long as there's any discrepancy about the birth and birth certificates, those children should not be in the line of succession. It is simple. That is what it comes down to, no matter what. And the same applies not only to Lily, but also to Archie. Now, I want you to note that I do feel extremely sorry for these children, and in no way should they ever be blamed for any of this, even if they turn out to be little rotters at the end of the day. They are the innocents in all of this. They did not ask for this at all. The biggest issues or problems with and for these children are the fact that they are very obviously being used as pawns in their legal parents' game. So let's put all of that aside for just a while and let's look at the same topic but a different scenario. Are you aware that there is a very, very strong push for a change in surrogacy laws in England. We have spoken about this numerous times, but I am aware that people come and go, so I would assume that there are 100 or more people who have not worked through this with us, and hence there will be a number of my American or French or German or other listeners who do not realize how different surrogacy rules and laws in the United Kingdom are from those in the United States. At the moment, surrogates in the United Kingdom are indeed listed on the baby's birth certificate as the mother, while the intended parents must apply for a parental order after birth, which at the end of the day can take months. In certain states of the United States, all the agreements and paperwork are done and entered into before the baby is born. So when the child is born, he or she is already being issued with her birth parents as the intended couple or then the parents. Other states in the United States makes a distinction between a surrogate, who is the biological mother with the intended dad's gametes, and one who is carrying a baby fully conceived by IVF with donated gametes, be it the intended mother or someone else or the intended father or another donor, doesn't matter. There are also states in the United States which do not allow for the surrogate's egg to be used, and so on and so on. Almost every state differs on that. And then, to top it all, the states actually change their minds and laws almost every other day. Okay. Europe, however, is a different kettle of fish. France, Germany, Italy, and Spain heavily restrict or even ban surrogacy. So in terms of those countries, England is again a little more liberal. But, number one, a surrogate in England can only be reimbursed for cost and may not receive payment as such. And number two, because the surrogate and her spouse, if she is married, go through a period after the birth where they are indeed legally responsible for the child she birthed, even though the baby may even have gone home with the intended parents after the birth. Okay, and that happens if, say, the baby needs a operation, a medical procedure where permission is required. If that adoption hasn't gone through, then the surrogate is the one who will have to give that kind of permission. Okay, so this puts many intended surrogates off from doing that, and a backlog of about, they are guessing 3 to 5 years for surrogates occurred in the United Kingdom. It also caused British parents to look at countries like Mexico and Nigeria for surrogates, where surrogates often carry children for payment and payment only. Okay, it's a source of income in a way. And where the practice is indeed also not so heavily monitored and restricted. And this, of course, comes again with major risks. So, a Law Commission review published in 2023 urged the government to change UK surrogacy law, including giving legal parenthood to the intended parents from the moment of birth. So, guys, if a child was created in a petri dish with both parents' gametes, or even just one of the parents, and a donor's egg or sperm, there will be no way for a child or anyone else to ever trace the surrogate or the donor, if and when the new proposals become law in England. So once the new proposed laws are passed, we will never ever get the truth about Archie and Lily. But now, for the absolute bombshell. And I'm going to put a timestamp in the description box, which I have been doing lately, because according to comments, not all of you are interested in everything I have to say. So you go to the description box, you look at timestamps, and you go and listen to whatever you want to listen to. Okay? So the person I banned yesterday because she said get to it, well, you get to it. Go look for the timestamp and get to what you want to hear, okay? You've been banned. Cheerio. Bye. I'm sick of these rude people. However, I must say that 9 out of 10 of them are, well, they have accounts obviously in order to comment, but it's normally CKJL123456XY and no posts, no followers, no nothing. So, you know, it could very well be Meghan Markle and one of her bot accounts. But in any event, I am blocking them these days. Can't put up with such rudeness. But, again, if you don't want to listen to all my shite, go and have a look. I don't do it on every video, but go and have a look at my description box. And 9 out of 10 times lately over the past month, there will be a timestamp. So you can go listen to whatever you want to. You don't have to listen to me rambling on about things you don't want to hear. Cool. Let's continue. Now, guys, this is the bombshell, and this is extremely important because we need to know what is going on behind the scenes. People like Lauren and myself and Paula and many others, I've been trying to tell you that things are not what they seem, okay? But people, and I understand that the monarchy had been part of our history, of our personal interest and makeup for many, many years. So I do understand that it is upsetting. But we have been trying to tell you that things are not the way it seems. And this is just more proof of it, okay? So one of the top experts behind the push in the United Kingdom for the new surrogacy law is a person by the name of Professor Nicholas Hopkins. Now hang on to your seats, my friends. Here it comes. This very same Professor Nicholas Hopkins famously interviewed Harry in a major Guardian profile regarding his relationship with his father. And what did this Dr. Nicholas Hopkins do? Well, he accompanied Harry to the Ukraine. There are photographs of them on that train, okay? And that is where he did this interview with Harry, okay? And they spent the whole 2-3 days together. Why? Why? Anyway, in this interview, Harry discussed his hopes for reconciliation, and remember, that was also when Harry said, you cannot have reconciliation before you have truth. Ouch. So I guess Professor Hopkins may have his friend Harry in mind when pushing the new laws. Did they actually even discuss that while in the Ukraine? Just asking. The second prominent expert behind the push for law reform in surrogacy is a person by the name of Professor Gillian Black. The very same Professor Gillian Black who was in the royal procession at Charles's coronation at Westminster Abbey, and again at the National Service of Thanksgiving in Edinburgh. As Scottish Officer of Arms, Professor Black serves the Crown by carrying out state and royal heraldic duties. So she knows King Charles very, very well. The third person behind the drive to push the new surrogacy law through Parliament is Professor Kirsty Horsey, who is not a stranger to Charles either, meeting him like for the second or third time, and having a friendly discourse with him at the Ascot races. So guys, do I smell a rat, or do I smell an entire rat's nest? Of course, Charles will not openly oppose or support proposals as it is seen as political or a political matter due to the fact that it is being reviewed by Parliament. But my dear friends, what will happen to the proposed surrogacy register? Well, I inquired and I'm told and shown that it was one of the items which was strongly opposed by the experts, or shall we say all the king's men and all the king's horses. And they were citing open and closed adoptions and bloody fish cakes. So yes, that seems to be off the table. And I think I have the right to wonder who influenced that. By now, we have all heard about the spider letters and letters sealed in 3 envelopes to Angela Rayner. So why should we even doubt Charles's influence? Okay guys, in the next video I'm going to bring you yet another eye-opening bombshell. I'm making it 2 separate videos because I do not wish to complicate the issue any further. So let's take a breath and then let's get into the rest. So until then, please take good care of yourselves, stay safe. Why? Because I love you. Bye.